Did you know that American investors with ties to President Trump have poured millions of dollars into this small Honduran island to create a private for-profit city? And that when Honduras tried to stop the project, they decided to sue the country for almost $11 billion?
This is like a new form of colonization. We're fighting not only for the survival of this community, but for the sovereignty of the country.
I visited Prospera, a startup city on the touristy island of Roatan. It's a semi-autonomous enclave that's basically governed by foreign investors, thanks to a law Honduras passed in 2013.
Prospera is building the fastest-growing private city project in the world, elevating human potential through a radically decentralized private governance framework.
Prospera is a crypto-friendly, so-called free market utopia designed for businesses to operate with extremely low taxes and a choose-your-own regulation scheme. They're unbound by Food and Drug Administration regulations, so many medical startups in particular have set up shop in Prospera conducting experimental treatments.
I came to Honduras with the intention of editing and altering my genetic makeup.
I also recently got myself like an implant into my hand here. You can program several things into it, like opening a Tesla car.
Prospera is the flagship project within a global movement to create privately governed for-profit cities around the world. And this movement has a lot of tech billionaires behind it, like Peter Thiel, Sam Altman, and Marc Andreessen. Elon Musk has also championed forms of private cities. And all those guys have supported Trump, who also wants to build privatized cities on US federal land.
These freedom cities will reopen the frontier.
But back in Honduras, the private city Prospera is extremely controversial. The current president and her supporters argue that Prospera is threatening the sovereignty of Honduras.
Estamos convencidas que para generar trabajo en nuestro país no necesitamos vender nuestra soberanía.
She even led the repeal of the law that enabled Prospera's creation. Because get this, Prospera has its own government, private police, and even its own voting process. And the more land you own in Prospera, the more votes you have for a few of the council seats.
Welcome to my city.
I met Jorge Colindres in Prospera. He's basically the mayor here and says private cities like this will help Honduras, which is one of the poorest countries in Latin America.
This capital here creates jobs. This capital creates investment opportunities for Honduran entrepreneurs.
But so far, most of the jobs that Prospera has created for Hondurans are in the construction and service sectors.
They're saying it's prosperity for us, it's not.
That's Vanessa, and I met her in the village of Crawfish Rock, a humble fishing village of around 600 people that's right next to Prospera. She's been leading the fight against it because she says Prospera hasn't been transparent about its plans and is playing by its own rules. Since businesses within Prospera can choose what regulations they operate under, this tower looming over the island is nearly twice the height of what's allowed by local code. Vanessa is worried about what that means for the environment and her village.
And when I see that, I'm just seeing that expanding all over. They will not left us here, they're the huts.
For now, Prospera continues to operate even while in legal limbo, and that $11 billion lawsuit is ongoing in an international tribunal. But even if Prospera doesn't survive, it's likely the movement for private cities will. Prospera recently announced it's launching in Africa, and private city proponents are lobbying Trump to make good on his plans for freedom cities in the US. Why should people around the world care about what's playing out here in Honduras?
They should care more than anything because it's the rich taking from the poor, and it just doesn't seem right for Americans to come threaten us in taking what little we have. And they may say whatever they want, but that threat is real.